Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk about how I lived here in the Philippines for at least 6 months for less than $800 a month. Was it living or was it merely existing? Stick around. Alright, so the time I lived for under $800 a month, we have to go back to the point of the pandemic. And that would have been in about early 2020. I was living here in Dumaguete, and at that time, I had found a place to rent, and I believe the rent was around, I want to say like 17 or 18,000 a month. So once the pandemic started, I negotiated with my landlord and said, "Listen, there's no people here. There's no foreigners looking to rent. Prices are starting to come down. I might go to this other place where it's less rent." And he negotiated down, and I ended up paying like 12,000 pesos a month. So it went from around 18 or so to 12,000 pesos per month. At that time, my electric was pretty low. We were running ceiling fans. The food costs were much lower. The food costs were not like before. I couldn't get out to the specialty stores like Belchris and maybe to the Why Not to get the deli meats and cheeses and things like that. It was pretty much local markets where I could buy fruits, veggies, maybe seafood. Never really trusted buying pork or chicken, and I still don't to this day. Would I buy that from the marketplace? The warm weather, I don't know how long it's been there. And you see the flies and stuff. I just don't totally trust it. Even Maya doesn't buy that stuff from the local markets. At that time, we had passes. It would allow you to go out twice per week within a certain amount of time. You'd only get 2 hours, and you could only go from like 1 to 3 or like a certain time. Now, these passes, they didn't have enough passes, so they had to be shared throughout the neighborhood. So it was just a gamble on whether you could get to the grocery store or not. So we were finding ourselves having to go to the local markets, take the little side roads and go to the local market and buy, fruits and veggies and whatever we could find at these local markets. And so we ended up, our grocery costs went way down. The big thing that enabled us to get to such a low amount on a monthly basis was there was no dining out. We weren't going out to eat. There was no restaurants open. We weren't going to coffee shops to get my morning coffee. And when you go out for morning coffee, maybe you get a pastry. Maybe you decide to get breakfast with it. There was no shopping. Like, you wouldn't go to the mall and be like, "Oh, let me buy some new clothes." Why did you need to buy new clothes? I couldn't even go get a haircut. I mean, this was the haircut that I was doing just at home. I was buzzing it, So all these different things were coming down because we couldn't even spend if we wanted to. There was no travel. We couldn't even go to a local waterfall. Now, we did find a few waterfalls that we were able to sneak to, that were not public ones, that were you'd park in somebody's house and hike through the jungle a little ways to get to a waterfall. Those were the good days because nothing else was open. Now, I call it existing because it wasn't the best time in the world. You couldn't go and enjoy and do the things that you really wanted to. So I thought to myself, if I came out here and I had less than $1,000 a month, I probably would be just existing. Because one of the reasons I came out to the Philippines was to enjoy myself. To splurge a little bit. Yes, my money goes a lot further here. Do I have to live like a Westerner 100% of the time? No. There's a lot of things that I've cut down, a lot of things that I've adapted, with foods and stuff that, the cost of living compared to the West to here is night and day. $800 was existing. It wasn't really enjoying life. Life was watching Netflix. This is where I splurged. Now, I did do an article on my website about this, so if you want more detail, you can go and check that out. All right, guys, you can come to my website, and under blog, you can check out Can You Retire in the Philippines for Less Than $800 Monthly? A lot more information. I go into much more detail. And lots of other blogs, lots of other information, destinations, Geo's Travel Essentials, where you can pick up all the things that I found extremely useful when I traveled here and eventually moved. And these are all items that I highly recommend that you can also pick up for yourself, all at the Geo in the Philippines webpage. And you can also even book a consultation or contact me through my webpage. So I'll go over the numbers that I have here, and you can again see this on my website. I made one mistake on the website, but the rent was, I'm going to put this in dollars, the rent was about $240 US. In that rent, the internet was actually included, so that was quite the bargain. Visa extensions run you about $40 a month. My electric was about $60 per month. My food and groceries about $250. Dining out was non-existent. I had travel medical insurance, which is at that time I was still 49, so it was $68 per month. By the way, there's a link down in the description. I highly recommend it, even if you come out here for 2 weeks or whatever. Water was included. I did have to pay for a bottled water, which was only like 25 pesos per bottle. My streaming services came out to about 25 bucks a month. I think I had HBO Max, Netflix, and Amazon. And drinking water was about 5 bucks a month. And that actually came out to around $700 US a month. Now, every once in a while, maybe I would splurge. Maybe there wasn't a movie that was on one of those streaming services, maybe a brand new one, that I'm like, well, why not? You know, we're just sitting at home and you got nothing else to spend the money on, so I would spend it. And at that time, I was saving, you know. And we flash forward to now, and I am now sitting at probably $1,600 to $1,700 if you've watched my last budget video. Things like my travel medical insurance went up once I hit 50. I'm 51 now, but once I hit 50, it went up to $108 a month. There's now dining out. My rent went up. I pay for internet. I have to pay for water. My food and groceries, my dining out, my coffees, my traveling, all of that went up. But I'm no longer existing. I'm enjoying life. But going from the $700 a month to the $1,600, $1,700 a month, I have realized that this time around I actually kind of overdid it. What do I mean by that? I overdid it as far as like rent. You take this place. You've got the downstairs, and then you got the upstairs. Now, the upstairs is really just wasted space. I mean, I have one bedroom down here, and that would probably be sufficient. Or a place of this size, if we could have had 2 bedrooms downstairs and got rid of the upstairs. We don't even spend any time upstairs. We are only upstairs when it is bedtime. We go upstairs and we go to sleep. Other than that, nobody goes upstairs. It's all down here. It's the dining room, the living room, the kitchen, the bed, the bathroom, and then there's one bedroom. Like if I really want to nap, yeah, I'm at that age where I take naps sometimes if I can. Then I take a nap down here. And we have, you know, when I moved in here, I said, this is going to be amazing. We got a swimming pool, and guess what? At the first few weeks, maybe the first month, we were like swimming all the time. We were liking, you know, we were loving it. And even the neighbors and all that, same exact thing. We all went through that honeymoon phase where we're like, having a pool is amazing. And now none of us use it. None of us even once in a blue moon will jump in for a swim. I find that it is funner to go to a waterfall, to go to the beach, go to a resort and enjoy the pool for the day. But when you have it at your fingertips, when it's right there, you get used to it, or the novelty wears off and you just don't need it. So the next place that we will move into, we have decided, Maya and myself, that we no longer really want neighbors. There's nothing wrong with our neighbors, nothing wrong with our landlord. Our landlord's great, the neighbors are great. But I want to be able to walk out of my house and feel like it's my place. I can invite people over and I'm not disturbing this neighbor to the left, this neighbor to the right, and then the landlord over there. And so we have looked around and we know we can cut our rent probably down by about $10K. Electric should lower a little bit, different costs, maybe dining out. I think it'll be more enjoyable to be at home a little bit more. We have become homebodies. We still love to travel. Our life has gotten a bit different, but we do still enjoy the travel. But again, you get the people who will have the video saying, I can live in the Philippines for $500 a month. No, you can't. You can exist, and you can't exist properly. You won't even be able to afford your visas hardly, your travel medical insurance. To go out and have a nice coffee once in a while, that's existing. That's not really enjoying life. Bump it up to the $700, $800 level where I was at. You can start maybe once in a while. Maybe you can have a coffee once in a while. Maybe you can have this and that. But you're still kind of just existing. In my opinion, you still need to hit at least $1,000 a month to get beyond the point of just existing. And even at that $1,000 a month, you gotta cut back costs on internet, water, going out. You still have to watch yourself. For me, $1,600, $1,700, I pretty much can go out when I want. I can't go travel wherever I want, but I can travel pretty much most of the time, like small excursions all over, one big trip every once in a while, once a month or so. So if you really want to do more than just exist out here, and you want to be able to cover yourself if some medical emergency or something pops up, you really need to be at that higher level. Anyway, I would love to have your comments and everything down below. And don't forget, if you want more videos, I have more than 80 plus videos on my patreon.com/Geo in the Philippines. And depending on which membership you choose, you'll get different benefits. And also you can become a YouTube member by selecting the join button under any of my YouTube videos. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time.
I know you're on a roll, sweet honey, let's take it real.